These type of situations happens every day. Every day. At is gambling and shit, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And rob the dice game or whatever, you feel me? No matter who.
Boosie's back in the spotlight. And no, it's not because he dropped a fire track or blew up on social media. This time, it's way more serious. We're talking about something that could mean life or death. Duke the jeweler, he's gone. Murdered in cold blood. And the name that keeps coming up in all the wrong conversations. Boosie. This isn't some wild rumor made up by online trolls. This is real. There's federal documentation, witnesses, and actual evidence surfacing. Social media is exploding, and the streets are louder than ever. What started off as quiet barbershop talk and low-key DMs has turned into a full-blown federal case. And with every new detail that leaks, things are looking worse and worse for Boosie. It's like someone's laying down all the shady pieces and completing one disturbing picture. A strange traffic stop. Expensive jewelry that vanished. Multiple witnesses dropping names. It's stacking up quick. And then there's the dice game, one that might have ended in blood. If you thought this was just typical street drama, think again. It goes much deeper. It all kicked off when Boosie seemed like he was just cruising around, minding his own business. Then suddenly, sirens, flashing lights, pulled over. At first, nobody really made anything of it. Boosie's dealt with police before, but then people started putting things together. Why that car? Why that moment? And that's when things took a chilling turn, because that traffic stop? It happened right after Duke the jeweler got shot and killed in Houston. That's not some random coincidence. Once folks saw the timing, the internet lit up with wild theories. Everybody started getting suspicious. Then the feds jumped in, and they didn't come to play. This wasn't the usual legal trouble Boosie's faced before. This was a whole new game. Sources say the feds told him point blank, "This is different. No delays. No distractions. We're not sidetracking this. We're hitting it hard." Behind closed doors, the investigation started shifting. They separated this case from Boosie's past legal mess and began digging into what really went down that night. Who was with Duke, who made it out, and who's now trying to vanish. Boosie might still be dropping tracks and acting unbothered online, but to the federal agents? He's a prime person of interest in a murder probe. This is no joke, and they're not waiting for him to mess up. They're tracking his every move, every call, every post. They want answers, and fast. The feds are already putting the entire puzzle together, step by step. According to Houston PD, Duke flew in straight from Chicago for one purpose, to sell high-end custom jewelry to Boosie. This was supposed to be business. Serious business. He had over $1 million in exclusive ice tucked inside a Louis Vuitton bag. This wasn't some side hustle. This was big time. That same day, Duke was seen at a celebrity boxing event, rubbing elbows with A-listers. After that, he headed to a private dice game, the same one Boosie and a few others attended. And here's where it all gets shady. Moments after that dice game wrapped, Duke was robbed and fatally shot. Just like that, gone. His jewelry? Missing. His Louis bag? Nowhere. And to this day, no one stepped up with real answers. Boosie says Duke left on his own, and whatever happened afterward, he claims he doesn't know. But with that tight timeline, and the fact Duke flew out just to meet Boosie? Yeah, the feds aren't buying it. Not one bit. That's when Duke's brother, who goes by Stacks, came forward and made it clear he wasn't letting his brother's murder fade into silence. Stacks started speaking up, and when he did, everyone listened. No coded messages, no passive hints, he said it directly. He believes Boosie set Duke up. According to him, Boosie was the last person Duke met that night. And right after that, Duke ends up dead. That doesn't sit right with Stacks.
Service tomorrow for Duke. Leave your phones in the car, man. The family don't want no phones, man. We ain't got time, motherfucker, be sneaking no pictures, no videos. No bullshit like that. Leave your phones in the car, man. The family action. For no pictures, no recording and shit like that, man.
And honestly, a lot of people are feeling the same way. It's not just Stacks who's uneasy. He's been running his own investigation, reviewing footage, analyzing timestamps, and linking clues like he's solving the case solo. And in his eyes, this wasn't just some unfortunate slip-up. Duke was deliberately targeted. The whole situation reeks. This one cuts deep. It's a brutal reminder that betrayal often comes from the people you trust. It's one thing to lose out on the streets, but when it comes from someone you thought had your back, that stings differently. Duke believed he was meeting with a major figure, someone with fame, money, credibility. But what's starting to unfold seems more like a carefully laid trap. Now, whether Boosie orchestrated the whole thing or just happened to be there when it went down, that's exactly what the feds are laser-focused on. Regardless, the damage is already done. Duke isn't coming back, and now the streets want justice. Let's rewind and look at what Duke brought to the table that night, because this wasn't your average dice game meetup. Duke the jeweler wasn't just some flashy guy showing off chains. He had built a name. He was known and respected in the game, creating custom pieces for celebrities, athletes, influencers. His name carried weight. His craftsmanship? Elite. That night, he walked in carrying serious value. Over $1 million in jewelry, all packed in a Louis Vuitton designer duffel. He wasn't pulling any slick moves. Duke came correct, strictly business, ready to push his brand further. He walked into that space with confidence. No fear, no hiding. He was proud of his hustle, proudly showing off his creations, expecting to be among peers who respected his grind. He came looking for a come-up, not to become a cautionary tale. But what did he get in return? No answers. His jewelry gone, his bag missing, and his body left behind. Since then, people have been dissecting the timeline, going through surveillance clips, trying to figure out what happened. And one thing is becoming crystal clear. After that dice game ended, Duke disappeared, and so did the bag. The jewelry? Never seen again. It's like Duke walked in fully loaded, and didn't walk out at all. That's not by chance. That's no accident. That screams setup. Now people are starting to believe this might have been planned all along. There's no sign of the $1 million loot. And here's the kicker. Once Duke entered, all the cameras? Suddenly off. No footage. No one saw a thing. And out of everyone in that room, only one man didn't make it out alive. Duke. That's too neat to be random. The whole story feels like it's unfolding on its own. But hold up, it gets even messier. That same Louis Vuitton duffel with all that jewelry? It wasn't lost in some alley. Houston PD confirmed they found it inside Boosie's own house. Not in a random locker. Not stashed with a friend. Inside his personal residence. Think about that for a second. Word on the street is Duke had asked Boosie to hold the bag while the dice game was going down. But when everything fell apart, when Duke was killed, that bag never got returned to his people. No call. No report. It just sat there like it always belonged to Boosie. And here's the part people can't get past. If Duke trusted Boosie enough to hand him $1 million bag, then why didn't Boosie step up once Duke was gone? Why didn't he alert the cops? Why didn't he even notify Duke's family? Why was that bag chilling in his house like nothing happened? And just when you think it can't get worse, now there's a missing phone in the mix. Duke's phone? Gone. Vanished right after that dice game. No one saw it. No one knew where it went. But the feds? They don't miss. Every phone leaves a digital trail, like a fingerprint. When they traced Duke's phone, it didn't just disappear into thin air. No, the signal led straight to Boosie's recording studio. That's right. Duke's last ping was at Boosie's spot. Unless the phone grew legs and walked there itself, someone from Boosie's circle had it. Phones don't teleport. The tech doesn't lie. Somebody either got sloppy, or thought no one was watching. That studio ping? It was the last trace before the phone went completely dark. Another breadcrumb pointing right back to Boosie. And when authorities checked Duke's rental vehicle, what they found made things even worse. They pulled Boosie's own nephew's fingerprints from inside that car. That's family, blood. Boosie's inner circle just got pulled deeper into the mess. And it doesn't stop there. Not just the nephew, now Boosie's little cousin is caught up too. That's 2 family members with direct links to the crime scene. This isn't social media gossip. This is forensic fact. Fingerprints. Evidence. Undeniable. The kind that federal agents love to present in court, because it's almost impossible to refute. When those prints match people close to the suspect, that's a prosecutor's dream. But guess what? It gets even more intense. There was a witness. Just a regular person who had stepped outside to smoke. And what they said. Everything shifted after that. A key witness told investigators they saw Duke leaving Boogie's house. At first glance, it didn't seem like anything big. Duke looked calm, walking like it was just another regular day. No stress. No tension. Just business as usual. But then, out of nowhere, Boogie's nephew popped out from the side. Not the front entrance. Not even approaching in a casual way. No, this guy was hiding, waiting, like he knew exactly when and where to strike. Like everything was planned ahead of time. And if you believe what the feds have laid out in their official documents, plus what the streets have been whispering, then Duke sensed something wasn't right. They're saying he didn't panic. He didn't run. He threw the first punch. He fought back. Sources say Duke tried to fight his way out, but the setup was already locked in. And that's when Boogie's nephew allegedly pulled out a weapon and fired. No shouting. No threats. No build-up. Just a fast, cold move. Deadly and deliberate. In a flash, it was over. Quiet, clean, and intentional. And it all happened just outside the same place where Duke thought he was doing legit business, with someone he trusted. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment street fight. This felt personal. The way it unfolded, quick, silent, and sharp, it had premeditation written all over it. But here's the real mistake, the one that's now got the whole crew under federal heat. They held onto the jewelry. Whether it was an intentional robbery or just a failure to return it, doesn't even matter. That Louis Vuitton bag, stuffed with over $1 million in custom ice, never made it back to Duke's family. It stayed right in Boo's possession. All the while, Duke's phone was still pinging, not to some shady location or burner apartment, but right back to Boogie's recording studio. That's 2 massive connections, the missing bag and the phone. And both link directly to Boosie's world. That's not rumor. That's physical evidence. That's motive. That's the foundation of a federal case. And that's how the feds work. They build cases piece by piece, fact by fact, until the picture is clear. Once they followed that chain, from the stolen goods to the vanishing phone to the exact people who ended up holding it, the setup was undeniable. But just when it looked like things couldn't get more tangled, they did. Now people are turning their attention toward Jay Prince, and the questions are getting heavy. If Jay Prince is truly the one who controls things in Houston, like everyone says, how did something this intense happen right in his backyard, without him knowing? Let's not sugarcoat it. Jay Prince has a reputation that check-in culture is real. If you come to Houston, you check in. That's the unwritten law. If you don't, trouble can find you quick. Robberies, setups, people going missing. The city has rules, and everyone in the game knows what time it is.
Certain protocol for people to check in?
No, and I begin with me, and then he can speak, and they can speak for the other generation. But never, you know what I mean? We don't have time for no sucker shit like that. Now a lot of people from the different police departments and all these different people want to insinuate like we extorting people. They have to check.
That's just how Houston operates, and it's been that way for a long time. So if Duke really came to the city on official business and followed the street code by checking in like he was supposed to, then that raises a whole different question. Who gave the green light? Because now it's starting to seem like this wasn't some random hit. It's starting to look like someone allowed it to go down, right under the watch of the one man who's said to run the entire city. Even folks with serious underworld connections are chiming in, saying maybe Boosie's nephew acted alone. But not everybody's convinced. Too many eyes are still locked in on Jay Prince, wondering how something this massive could happen in Houston, on his turf, without so much as a heads up or a whisper. And here's a crucial detail many folks are overlooking, one that could flip the whole narrative. People close to the scene say Duke wasn't just casually hanging out at the dice game, he was winning. Big. He was wiping the floor with everyone at the table. Duke was raking in stacks, even beating people from Boosie's own camp. That's when the vibe shifted. What started off as a high-stakes but friendly game got tense real quick. Because when the money starts piling up in one corner and egos take a hit, the air changes. Fast. Pride and money, the two things you never mess with. And Duke was doing both. He was winning too much, too fast. The energy in the room dropped. The kind of silence that doesn't feel safe, the kind that warns you something bad's about to happen. And now we're left asking the big questions. Was Duke set up from the very beginning? Or did a lucky run at the dice table trigger a deadly chain reaction? Was Boosie calling the shots, or was he just another piece in someone else's game? And when the real story finally breaks, who's actually going to take the hit? Let us know what you think in the comments. Was this a pre-planned ambush? A tragic misunderstanding? Or just greed, ego, and street politics colliding in the worst way? Be sure to like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. And don't forget, drop your theories in the comments. We see everything. Catch you in the next one.